Parenting stories. First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for enforcing that my son uses his college fund to pay back his child support? My wife and I have 2 kids. Our oldest is Josh. He just started his 2nd year in college. Full disclosure, I'm not Josh's biological dad, but I've been married to his mom since he was 8. He's my son in all but blood. Josh has a full-ride scholarship at his college. His mom and I are very proud, and he has ambitions for law school after graduation. A few months ago, we were contacted by Tina, a girl who claimed to have had a baby boy with Josh. The baby is a little under 18 months old. Tina said Josh had ghosted her and blocked her on all platforms. She'd been trying to get back in touch with him, but when that didn't work, began to look for his parents to contact. She finally found us and begged us to get Josh to talk to her. We were skeptical at first. He said he knew the girl but denied the baby. We insisted on a paternity test, 2 of them, and they were positive. Tina has gone through the courts and now is pushing for back child support for the baby. Josh is panicking. He doesn't have much income or savings other than a college fund his mom and I have been paying into. He wanted to use that money for his first apartment and for law school. My wife wants to help him pay. The payments aren't much now, and we could afford to, but I'm against it. We, wife and I, agreed that our kids would be responsible for themselves once they moved out. We'd help them if they needed it, but only if it was reasonable. To me, paying his child support for a baby he tried to abandon is unreasonable. He has the money in his fund, he just doesn't want to use it. Josh is afraid of not being able to afford law school without big loans in the future. And to that I say tough. Should have thought of that before bringing a child into the world. My wife thinks I'm unfairly punishing him, and paying the support now would be investing in both the baby and Josh's future. I have no interest in taking care of an infant again this late in life. I'm fine with being grandpa, but not stand-in dad while Josh gets off scot-free. He needs to step up and take care of his kid. Edited to add, I suddenly have a flood of responses to read. Can't find the info post I meant to reply to, so I will address some questions here. Tina, according to her, tried to get in contact with Josh while she was pregnant. He denied the baby was his and ignored her. They weren't dating. She attends community college, not his university. She has evidence of multiple attempts to contact him both before and after the baby was born. I don't know about protection being used. I'd hope they were careful and that this was just an accident, but I'm not going to ask about all the details of my son's private life. The deed is done, the baby exists. He needs to step up and be a dad. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Thank you for standing up for the girl and the baby. Josh needs to understand that actions have consequences. Agreed. Not the a-hole. You're teaching your son a valuable lesson. Especially if he wants to be a lawyer, he should understand the importance of consequences. Not the a-hole. He has the money in his fund. He just doesn't want to use it. Should have thought of that before bringing a child into the world. I agree. Law school would be great, but he doesn't have that luxury. If he's still able to get a college degree and also has money to support a child, he's doing well enough. And how many mothers have had to give up dreams of law school to look after a baby? Also, do we really want the kind of immoral lawyers who would abandon their own child? Who am I kidding? Not the a-hole, and I agree with you in every point. Josh not only created this mess, but he made it worse by actively avoiding Tina and forcing her to get you/your wife/the course involved. If you and your wife pay his child support for him just so his future stays pristine, then you are enabling his recklessness. I mean, what about Tina's future and the plans she had that have now been put aside because she became a mom? She doesn't get to continue her life as though nothing has changed, and neither should Josh. If your wife wants to help in some way, she can go shopping for her grandchild, maybe buy some clothes or toys or other things that would help Tina out. But the actual child support is Josh's responsibility to figure out. And if that means he takes the money out of his college fund and/or gets a job to meet his obligations, then so be it. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for trying to force my stepson to move out of his bedroom so my daughter can move in? I have a daughter and a stepson who I will call Carly and Kyle. Carly 15 and Kyle 18. They have never been particularly close. Kyle tends to avoid me and Carly like the plague. He hasn't bothered ever trying to build a relationship with us. I have been with Kyle's dad since the kids were 10 and 13. Due to some personal troubles, which I'll not go into detail about, Kyle stays with his dad, though his mother will visit fairly regularly, and they're in constant contact. She, of course, believes me to be the a-hole in this situation. Kyle has stayed in the attic since I knew him. His parents had the attic converted into a proper bedroom for him when he was around 9 or 10. It is an absolutely stunning room. Plenty of space, nice furniture, and it is currently inhabited by several dressmaking dummies as he is studying fashion at university. Lately, Carly has asked me if she can stay with me full-time. She and her dad are just not getting on, and she'd prefer living with me. Her dad is absolutely fine with this, as he was never really good with her in the first place. This means that the majority of Carly's things will be at our place. She has a lot more things than Kyle, and would most likely need more space. That's why I thought it'd be a better idea to have Kyle move into Carly's slightly smaller bedroom downstairs, and Carly can move into the attic bedroom. I even offered to pay for whatever Kyle wants for his new bedroom, regarding wallpaper, paint, posters, etc., as I know it is a bit of a change for him. Kyle is not a fan of the idea and has been complaining about how he needs the space to work on his university projects. I told him that he is more than welcome to use the dining room, as we rarely ever use it, and we can clean out one of the storage cupboards to store the dummies in. Kyle's partner is also not a fan of this, though I am almost 100% sure that this is just because in the attic bedroom, they can do what teenagers do without interruption. I think that Kyle is being a bit overdramatic about this, as I'm not kicking him out into the street, just into a smaller bedroom, which I have offered to decorate for him. His father is not completely sold on the idea, but is slowly coming around. He also thinks that Kyle is being a bit dramatic regarding the room situation. Kyle's mother and girlfriend, and of course Kyle himself, all think that I'm being an a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. You can't kick him out because you want your daughter to have his room. You give her what's available. Such a terrible thing you're trying to do. He's also paying rent. Opie replied to my comment below saying so. WTF? If he's paying rent, she's twice the a-hole I thought she was before. You're the a-hole. That has been his room for years. Now you want to favor your own child. This is his space. He needs it for his studies. All of his points are valid. You're playing favorites and wanting to give your daughter the bigger room. Your reasoning makes zero sense. Oh, she has more things, but then go, well, he can store his stuff downstairs. Yeah, so can she. The big, giant, gorgeous room with the lovely furniture. Sounds like Mommy Dearest wants her daughter to have a big princess room Mommy thinks she deserves, and the teenage boy and his partner need to stop being gross teenagers and take the smaller room. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting my parents stay with my kids for long periods of time because of my brother? I, 27 female, have a sister, 26 female, and a brother, 15 male, who is autistic. When he was 2, he was diagnosed with autism. From that moment on, he was my parents' absolute priority. Well, I get it now, 14-years-old me did not. It was like I woke up one day and my parents became very different people. Lots of money were spent on various types of therapy, lots of time were dedicated solely to him. Lots of special occasions for me and my sister became second thoughts to my parents. They were not terrible parents, but a lot of things they did before, like having meals with us every night, picking us from school became our nanny's responsibilities, as my parents were focused on my brother. I resented my brother first, and with time, my parents. The one positive thing was me and my sister becoming best friends. I left for college when I was 18, and my sister left for the same college the year after. We lived together the whole time. Neither of us really missed home, because who misses feeling like a second thought? We only went home for the holidays. In the summers, we did car trips and had a blast. When I was 21, I met my now husband. The three of us, me, sis, and him, became super close. After that, he joined our summer trips. We got married 2 years later and had twins the following year. The kids are now 3. We stopped the trips after the twins were born, but after their first birthday, we decided to go on 3 weeks vacations annually. When they grow up, we will make sure to adjust the trip so they can join us. Right after my sister finished college, I got a job near our hometown. My sister had no reason to stay where we were, so she moved back with us. My husband's parents live close, just 2 hours away, and my parents and my brother still live in our old house, 15 minutes away. For the first 2 trips after the twins were born, we left them with my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They are amazing grandparents. Well, this year, it clicked to my parents that my girls were obviously not going with us on the trips. They asked who had watched the twins the first 2 times, and I explained that my mother-in-law and father-in-law had. They asked to keep them this year and I said no, but thanks for the offer. We appreciate it. They wanted to know why my mother-in-law and father-in-law could have them for long periods of time, but they couldn't. I was honest, said that I do trust them to babysit for short periods, as I know they would never neglect the girls in those few hours. But I don't want them to have them for 3 weeks. They need a lot of attention, and so does my brother. And while I don't think they would do anything on purpose, I'm afraid they will end up too focused on my brother and temporarily forget the twins need their attention as well. They accused me of hating my brother. I don't, and said that I was a horrible sister. They said I was punishing them for caring for my brother and preventing them from bonding with my girls. My sister and husband agree with me, though, but I fear they are just too close to the situation to judge. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your parents did what they thought was best for their children. You get to do what you think is best for your children. I really appreciate how perfectly you worded this. It would take me 8 paragraphs to make the same point you just so concisely made. Not the a-hole. You have valid and sensible reasons. Your parents are emotional, but to not have noticed for 2 years your girls were not with you and were obviously somewhere, to me just shows what you've said. They are preoccupied with your brother and just unaware. Not a bad thing, but a truth. A truth that you've accepted, and you live your life with that knowledge. They can visit your girls over the trip time, but I agree it's a huge thing to watch twin toddlers for longer than a day. Lol. God bless your in-laws, and have a safe and awesome trip. Agree, not the a-hole. Also, your in-laws are saints. Looking after the twins for 3 weeks. Info, have you ever had a real conversation with them about your feelings? Are you scared for the well-being of your kids? Or just that they won't receive the level of attention you think one needs for a full childhood? I ask cause 3 weeks ain't going to break your kids. Unless it's big ol' abusive. Not the a-hole after reply. We never had a full emotional conversation about how my sister and I felt like second thoughts. No. But they are aware we felt forgotten. I don't think they would abuse the girls. But 2 toddlers are a full-time job. They need a lot of attention. Between naps, 5 meals, bathing, playing, changing diapers, they need someone to always be paying attention. My fear is that they will forget a meal, or not realize a diaper needs changing or something like that, because my brother needed their attention. They wouldn't die, of course, but it makes me anxious. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not apologizing to my dad and stepmom for being a nightmare of a child growing up? My dad married my stepmom 3 months after my parents' divorce, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out how their relationship started. I was 13 then. He fought for 50-50 split custody and won it. I took out all my anger and resentment on their household. I was an actual monster of a child while I was with my dad, but my mom had 0 issues with me. I was also very well behaved in school. But over the years, I've wrecked a lot of stuff around their house and was generally extremely rude to them. I made both my dad and stepmom cry more than a few times. When I was 16, I stopped going over to their house. I mellowed out with them, but I distanced myself from them. I'm now 28 and recently married. I recently met my dad and stepmom at my grandparents' house for an outdoor barbecue. My stepmom overheard me telling my aunt that I love being newlyweds in a new home. She got extremely upset and said I ruined that experience for her. And she said the least I could do was apologize. I basically scoffed and walked away without even acknowledging her. I think my dad and her handled the situation poorly in general and should have been more proactive about dealing with my issues when I was a literal child. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She didn't get the standard newlywed experience because she had an affair with a married man. Of course, you as his child were not going to be open to spending time with a woman who helped to hurt your mother. Exactly this. Opie was also 13 years old, still a child, when acting this way, so blaming him for what he did as a child, even though it was within his right, when you look at how his parents separated, and expecting an apology seems immature and unnecessary. It's kind of incredible how selfish and totally without empathy someone would have to be to say, "Please apologize to me for acting like a child," when you were a child, after I helped to destroy your family as you knew it. Like, if everyone is asking for apologies, I'm pretty sure dad and stepmom owes one to Opie's mom first. I'm surprised by the a-hole votes. If a teen posted saying his dad had cheated and married his mistress directly after the divorce finalized, and expected him to live with the affair partner and behave like nothing was wrong, people would be up in arms about the selfish dad. I'd say not the a-hole for not apologizing. I think you went too far with your behavior since you say you broke things, and that sounds on the violent side. But it doesn't sound like you've actually reconciled with them, just that you were finally able to get the distance you wanted. I'm not going to expect someone to apologize under those circumstances. Not the a-hole. You could hardly be expected to celebrate a marriage built on the wreckage of your parents' marriage. You were 13, your mother was devastated, and your father chose to antagonize you by expecting you to live with this woman half of the time. What exactly did